It's gone. Home run, Clemente, and the Pirates 2, the Orioles nothing.
Here's Lemieux. The center penalty coming up. Look at Lemieux. Oh my goodness. What a goal. What a move. Lemieux. Oh baby.
Welcome to another live edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline in the BPTV studio. Thanks for watching us during this COVID. We appreciate it. We'll try to entertain you. I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. Sorry for the cancellation of last week. Chip is back. Smoking Jim is back from the mysterious ailment that we can't talk about because we don't know what's wrong with him. Your prayers are welcomed. He does a great job with the prayers. He keeps bouncing back. He reminds me of the Bible. Lazarus. Lazarus Frazier is back alive.
You got more lives than a cat.
I know. They only have 9. He's got a ton. And
9,000.
well, we don't know the number because it's like his birth year. We don't know the birth year or the age.
Yeah, we do.
So we don't know that.
Yeah, we do.
Maybe you do, Chip, but I don't. And got my hair cut at Izazu by Marianne. Couldn't be on air last week. It's holding up tight and crisp, so thank you very much at Izazu in downtown Pittsburgh. We got some stuff to talk about. We got some great things happening in the sports world. I got some promos here. First up, we always talk about, let's see if we get that. Anthony's in the control room. He's by himself. He's soloing tonight. Look at the setup that he did here. Olive Oil's Pizzeria, 412-831-1900, Hillcrest Shopping Center. We can't eat any pizza here. I'm here early. Chip beat me today. Smoking Jim slithered in the door very slowly, but he made it in. So check him out. Great Italian food, pizza, and everything there. Just a great place. Next up, we end each show with Stay Joey Strong. Joey died his 9th birthday, 9 years old, right before his 10th birthday, 6 years ago, from a dreaded brain cancer, DIPG. They do lots of events, raised over $100,000 during the 6 years, gave it to the doctors to try to find a cure for this deadly disease. You get diagnosed with it as a child, you're dead within a year. So go to Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation.com and check it out and donate whatever you can there and see when their events are going to be. Next up, 2600 South Park Road, Bethel Park Historical Society Schoolhouse Arts and History Center. Great place to go. 1905 schoolhouse, been remodeled, new roof, new windows. They do great things there. Check them out. They're a 501c3. You can donate money, donate time. I was there for a meeting on a Thursday. They said, Al, why don't you stay and help us do some remodeling? You can put that on your schedule. How about Tuesday night? I said, watch me on TV when I promote the Bethel Park Historical Society. Check out Reginald's Coffee, same location, 2600 South Park Road, corner location. They have chairs outside. It'll be a little rough with a little drizzle, but bring an umbrella, sit in the chair, and have your coffee, which is great. And I like their green tea, so check them out. Next up, Dave Cable likes to have a little fun at my expense. Has my face where Uncle Sam should be. I want you for BPTV. 412-831-3304. We need some volunteers to help out. Poor Anthony's by himself. We might need somebody to adjust the camera. He'll run from the control room into here with the camera and make a slight adjustment so you can see smiling Smoking Jim and smiling Chip wearing their Pittsburgh Sportsline masks. So try to be healthy and just imagine those smiles. Next up, Bethel Park Community Foundation has money for you, from $100 to $5,000. I'm a trustee on the committee. We've given out $1 million in 25 years to local groups and organizations. If you need money, they've done it. We appreciate the donations that everybody makes and the great things they're doing to make our community great here. Look, we got BPTV. 9 years we've been doing this show. I'll have to bring a cookie or cake in next week. With the show last week, I didn't know what to do when I got the phone call from Chip and I got the text from Smokin' Jim. I won't say what Smokin' Jim said, but it was not good. Last but not least, the Vets Breakfast to Go, October 30th at 9 a.m., Peterswood Park, right in Peters Township. Smokin' Jim, it's near Peters High School, and you know where that is, Peters Township. It's for veterans, 9 a.m. I got invited to bring my son there, so we're going to have a breakfast on Friday.
New school.
Yeah, they got the new one going up. Smokin' Jim witnessed it, but check that out. That's Natalie Mahalik and her office doing great things in the community. So check that out. See you veterans there on Friday.
Let me see that.
There you go. Next up, I had to get my car. I had a Padiddle. My one headlight went out a couple days ago, so I only had one headlight. So who do I call? I call Skeets. Skeets Service Station, 6103, Route 88. Red, white, and blue station, does great work. So since I was getting a headlight, I got two headlights because with my luck, the other headlight would have probably burned out next month. So I went to Skeets, I got two to put in. He goes, what are you doing? You said one. I go, never mind, Skeets, just put them in. They put them in, and I said, how about an oil change? So after 3.5 hours of being there, I got my oil change. He said, I just thought you came in to talk to people. He introduced me to half a dozen people, and one of his friends even was reminiscing about going, Chip, you'll like this, the Forbes Field.
There you
He
go.
remembers great memories of his dad taking him to Forbes Field and seeing the games. They'd come and sit in the right field stands with other kids, and he remembered who his coaches were, and he remembered who his dad was, who brought him to the games. Unlike, disclaimer, Smokin' Jim
Did
Frazier.
he remember who played right field?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And he even said he met him one time, so that was pretty good. But give Skeets a call, 724-348-4715. He sponsors What's on Your Mind, and we're about to do that right now. Smokin' Jim Frazier, welcome back. What's on your mind?
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green, you got to
That's the
see
fastball right
green.
down the middle.
I feel like A.J. Brown.
No, I feel like Deontay Johnson.
Yeah.
Hey, let me ask you this.
No.
Pronounce the spelling of this word. Negron.
Negron.
Okay, I'm driving to get a bucket of chicken, and I see a big sign in the business yard saying this guy Negron is running for Congress. And I said,
Throw the race card out.
that's what I said. I thought it said Negroes run for Congress. I said Black Lives Matter in Bethel Park. But hey, speaking of
That's why we don't talk politics, folks. This is just entertaining.
looking at it quick when you think that, Chip, I said, wow, they really getting behind this thing. Hey, hell to be the talking machine. Is there any, and Chip, you know everything, Chip. Is there a good soul food restaurant in Pittsburgh? I'm working with this model out of Johnstown, beautiful girl. She said when next time she comes in, which is November 11th, she wants to go to a soul food restaurant.
What about Savoy?
Does they serve soul food? I thought they
That's
was
your
a black-
best buddy,
I
Chuck
thought it was
Sanders.
a black place that served white
Yeah,
food.
no, you know what? And I'm sure you get him to comp you a meal.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. He might be hitting on my.
There's a
plate.
couple places in Homewood. Go to Homewood.
Wow, I don't know if I want to.
Zach
talk about
Brenner
that.
took me to Homewood to some barbecue place that
But you can't sit down. That's a grab. That's a.
you
grab
have
a-
a car.
Grab a rib and go.
You have a car. I had great greens at this place
Yeah,
and
that place is
ribs.
good. I know where you mean. But
Yeah.
let's grab a ribs and go. You can't sit down in there with
Well,
all that drive-by.
that's all right. Your car, you can fit it, maybe another person in there.
But in my opinion, when it comes to the NFL, Black Lives Matter too much. Listen, my new favorite player, Robert Stonewall Spillane. And I tell you what, that hit he put on Derrick Henry was heard across the world. I tell you what, everybody knows I don't like Devin Bush. He's a finesse guy. He played 2 years for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He played 4 years for Michigan. You can't name one big hit he had. Robert Spillane played a game and a half for the Steelers, had a big hit on Derrick Henry that'll be shown forever. He had a big hit last week on Kareem Hunt for Cleveland Browns. I love this kid. When he put that hit on Derrick Henry, he sent the message that everybody, when you see number 41 in the game, you better bring your lunch. It's the same message that Dick Buckus sent. Ray Niskey, Mike Singletary, Willie Lanier, Sam Huff. How about Mike Curtis and Jack Lambert? I would trade right now Devin Bush and Mika Fitzpatrick, who's been invisible for 6 games other than 1 play. And that's what's on my mind, except for everybody's been asking. No matter where I go, Chip, everybody asks me, give your top 10 linebackers in Steeler history, so I got to give it. Number 10D and moving up, Robert Stonewall Spillane. 10C, Lawrence Timmon. 10B, Robin Cole. 10, Vince Williams, who's having a Pro Bowl type season. How about 9B, Chad Brown? Number 9, James Ferrier. A lot of people think he should be higher. Jason Gilden. 8B, Lamar Hamstring Woodley. Number 8, how about Mike Merriweather, one of the all-time greats. 6C, Dirk Winston. 6B, Henry Davis. How about number 6, Kendrell Bell, who used to send some messages. How about 5C and moving up, Bud Dupree. How about 5B, LaVon Kirkland. Number 5, James Harrison. How about 4B, Joey Porter. Number 4, he should be in the Hall of Fame, Andy Russell. 3B, a Hall of Famer, Kevin Green. Number 3, Greg Lloyd. Number 2B, Jack Ham. Number 2, Jack Lambert. Number 1, and no argument here, T.J. Watt, the best defensive player in the National Football League. That's my top 10, first and 10 with Smoking Jim. Steelers all-time great linebackers. Linebacker you.
So Kendrell had a full 2-year career, right?
What could he hit, though?
Yeah.
He was like a stone wall.
Longevity puts you in the Hall of Fame, my friend.
Wow.
Again, this is just Smoking Jim's opinion. It's not our opinion, as you understand. It's just his. He's special, like his mama said, and he keeps doing that. So thank you, Smoking. I'm honest, Jim. Chip Hainer, what's on your mind?
What's on my mind? Leave it to my friend Jim to start dismantling a team that's 6-0. Okay? 6-0. Remember these numbers. 6 wins, no losses. And this is going to lead me into another portion of a conversation, but I just want to touch on something else here because my dear friend to my left, and I am going to be taking you to task, okay, has done nothing but throw shade on Mike Tomlin and Kevin Colbert and their inability to grade anything higher than a D- with their draft, okay, and who have never had a season of less than 8-8. And that's a bad year for the Steelers. And if you're, if you're wondering how bad is 8-8, ask the Atlanta Falcons, ask the New York Jets. Okay, those guys would sell their souls to the devil for a season of 8-8. But here's some information that I read. This came out of the New York Times. Okay, and it's a story lauding the Steelers' continuity and stability, something that has become so ingrained along the Three Rivers that it's almost taken for granted. As a reason in their 5-0 start, wrote Mike Tainer, the Steelers are throwbacks to an era of longer attention spans and slower news cycles. When granting the quarterback and the coach an extra year made sense, and instant gratification roster decisions did not. They have built a young nucleus without rebuilding, developed rising stars instead of overpaying, and created a more exciting team than they fielded in the Bell Brown era. Without compromising, the 2020 Steelers are so old-fashioned that they are now retro chic. It's a look that really suits them. And that leads me to another thing because, our dear friend to my left has on more than one occasion talked about how the Pittsburgh Steelers should fire Mike Tomlin, and a certain head coach who's got Greenfield roots was the man he said was the solution to the Steelers' problems. Let's fast forward to October 2020 in Dallas, Texas. And the Dallas Cowboys have completely...
Hold it, who's their coach?
Oh, Mike McCarthy.
Thank you.
And the
I got
team-
lost there for a second.
The team is in such disarray. I do not see how they are going to win another game this year. Ben DiNucci is now their starting quarterback. And unfortunately, grotesque injury to Dak Prescott, their starting quarterback, that they wouldn't sign to a long-term contract, I say.
A billionaire said
Who's
that.
out for the year. And then the red pop gun, the red rifle, who Jim was touting last week as the answer to the Cowboys' prayers. Okay? There is so much dysfunction on the team that the players are talking to the press about the coaches that they don't know what they're doing. Their defense has given up in 6 games 243 points. And for those of you that need the math, that is averaging 40.5 points a game that their defense is giving up. So there's no continuity on the defense. The players are rebelling against the coach. And more importantly, the starting quarterback last week got cheap-shotted by John Bostic, an ex-Steeler who we let walk instead of paying, okay, because we've got young talent that's better than him.
Yeah.
Andy Dalton sliding, giving himself up, hits him in the head, knocks him into next month. And the thing about that got my attention so much, it's not a single Dallas Cowboys player raised a hand to do anything to John Bostic. They stood there and looked at him. And where is the team unity? When Mason Rudolph got hit in the head with a helmet, Pouncey, DeCastro, and
Hayward.
everybody else
Hayward
was
was
wailing
there.
away on Myles Garrett. They went to defend their backup
And they heard
quarterback.
Myles Garrett say nothing.
And that
They heard him say nothing.
that speaks to the coach, because if the coach hasn't established any team unity and camaraderie, that isn't something that you can buy. I am so glad that the Steelers didn't listen to Jim Frazier, that the Cowboys have Mike McCarthy as their problem, and they're going to probably play for the first pick in the draft next year, just so they don't have to pay Dak Prescott $40 million a year, and they can draft Trevor Lawrence. The only fly in that ointment is the New York Jets, because they're not going to win a single game this year. So, I had to take you to task on that. Then to speak to the late hit on Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
John Bostic, I know he's going to get fined hard, and I think what the NFL should do to send a message to the rest of the league, and I know this is going to get him going, they need to suspend him indefinitely. He should never be able to put on pads again. That hit was blatant, and the only way that they're going to get that kind of hit out of the game is to make the punishment severe. He deserves the death penalty, figuratively speaking, not literally.
Yeah, in this age, yes.
That's what's on my mind.
Thanks, Chip.
One, I didn't see the hit. I got to go to YouTube to see the hit. I did hear it was a cheap shot. But just one question: when the Steelers and Packers played in the Super Bowl, when Mike McCarthy was the head coach, who won that game?
Was that 10 years ago?
No, I'm just saying. Who won?
Was that 10 years ago?
Here, I have one
I'm
question.
just asking if that was 10 years
I
The
have-
ago.
last time the Steelers was in the Super Bowl.
Well, I have one question. How tall was Troy Polamalu when he tried to knock down the pass that Rodgers threw that would have ended the game?
I don't remember.
How
that.
tall was Troy?
I don't remember.
The
that.
ball went right over him.
I'm just asking who won the game.
No, but
No,
I'm
no.
asking you a
That was
question.
favorite.
I'm asking you about Troy.
Well,
Ooh, oh my goodness.
yes.
There you have it,
Watch
folks.
it. Watch.
Woo.
All right. Thank you, Chip. I'm going to go to what's on my mind. Forget all this talk about signs in the yard, all this nonsense, illegal hits.
One last thing.
Okay.
Just answer this question for me. Which head coach got fired?
Pardon me?
Which head coach got fired?
Well, Ben wanted Coach Tomlin out. He gets fired too.
No. Okay,
Aaron Rodgers
so
fired.
you're saying Mike McCarthy got fired
Was it Aaron
and Mike Tomlin did not? Okay.
He fell into that. Sorry. I'm glad we could have that special moment here on the show. Chip is on fire tonight, and he's not even starting yet.
You know, I've been away for a while. I've been like, you know, I need to work out some issues.
Understand. That's why we're here to entertain you. Hopefully that was entertaining. Well, I watched the Steeler game. What a first half they put together. I never saw so many weapons for Big Ben that are all successful. And then I was thinking, like, we had the triple Bs. I forget who they were, but there was a running back and a wide receiver. And they said, look at how we're playing. And this is the second team in Steeler history, I don't know, Smoking Jim's a historian, that went 6-0. The last team that did it was 1978. So you talk about a difference. Those two players that were prima donnas are gone. How are they doing it? We just had one bad year because Ben had 3 tendons that ripped out, and look at him throwing the ball. I've never seen him manage a game and games like I've seen this year. I noticed the maturity of him. That Chip and I had a little conversation before Smoking Jim barely walked in the door, and we were talking about how he's just throwing very well, playing well, and he's not talking that much about other players. So there's a huge difference in there, and we understand that now because we're seeing the results. I told my son in the fourth quarter when they were coming back, because for some reason we were playing prevent defense, and everybody that watches football, like all of us, when you prevent defense, you create offense on the other team. So I said, hey, Drew, we got a good team. If they stop them here, they stopped them, we won the game. Big difference in defense. They're playing lights out. The D-minuses over the last 10 years, I don't know how we do it. I consider it smoke and mirrors because they're all D-minus players, and the Steelers drafted like 98% of them. So somehow, some way they work it out. And right now, Tomlin could get Coach of the Year this year. Of course, he almost had it last year halfway through the year, and they managed 8-8 because they weren't great.
No, and then the duck laid an egg.
Well, no, not one. No, not one. Not one. He laid a few of them. He laid a few of them when he couldn't throw deep, and somebody swears he was the best guy that we should have kept, and I don't even think he's on the practice squad.
You know what they say, Alan, if it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck.
It is a duck.
And it lays eggs like duck.
Well, that's what I have. We're going to come back for some, what?
Before you go,
Okay.
in '78 the Steelers went 6-0, but the only team to ever go 7-0 was in '78. This team will get beat in next week by Baltimore, and Bob Greasy and Mercury Morris will pop that champagne once again. Greatest team of all time, 72 dollars.
I'm wearing the purple for the Ravens to get beat. I predict Steelers win, go 7-0, contraire to Smoking Jim Frazier and his outlandish picks where they're just opinions, and I respect his opinions. In this case, I'm putting my opinion out. Go Steelers. We'll be back with some fiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac. I can't wait.
Steelers show blitz. He throws the pass up. It's going to be picked up. James Harrison has it. He's running up the sideline. 25-30.
Hey, Davey! What is it, Jack? Did you hear what the captain is doing on the Dead and Buried Treasures Facebook page? No, what? He's giving away free passes for haunted Halloween attractions in a new contest throughout the month of October. Really? That's a hell of a lot of savings for the crew. How does he do it? I know. When the show airs its watch parties on Wednesdays and Fridays on Facebook, sometime during the course of the night, Captain Drake will sign in the chat room and give everyone the code. And then what? Well, you would need to email us with the code when he gives it. So everything is time-stamped? Yes. And the first correct response to the captain from the watch party receives free passes to one of the haunted attractions in the Pittsburgh area, including Allen's Haunted Hayrides, Rich's Fright Farm, or the Haunted Hills Estate. Wow, that is spooktacular, and just in time for Halloween. And that's not all. All of the contestants for the show who write in are automatically entered into a grand prize drawing that will be revealed during our Halloween special on the 30th, so you can use them on Halloween. But you have to attend our Facebook watch parties. What's the grand prize? grand prize winner receives passes to all 3 haunted attractions. Wow! And at the cost of those attractions, that saves a bundle. It's like 3 theme parks. I know. It's a buried treasure in itself. And just a short drive away.
Jack! Mr. Bones, quiet down. I need to sign into our Facebook chat room and do a little business.
No problem,
Yes,
Captain.
sir. No problem, sir.
Well, I gotta run, Mr. Bones.
Yeah, me too.
Hey, wait! Mr. Bones, you're going to sign into the watch party and wait, aren't you?
No, I would never do that.
Yeah, me neither. So, nice weather we're having, right?
Yes, it's cooler, but I like cool nights. Sometimes it rains and
Mr. Bones, you're breaking up. I'll call you back.
What the? Oh, no, you don't. I gotta run, Jack.
I'm talking to myself.
Hey! Where are those two? I can't ever get any reception.
Steelers show blitz. He throws the pass up. It's going to be picked up. James Harrison has it. He's running up the sideline. 25-30.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. Thanks, Chip Hayner. And my main man, Anthony, who never got a hair out of place on the 1s and 2s, making us look good. Again, I'll say it again, in case people didn't hear me. When you have a great football team, you're always looking to make it better. Right now, you try to look at what does teams in the National Football League would give you because they think these 2 players are good. Devin Bush, I would trade him right now, even though the Steelers ruined their draft to move up to get him. And Mika Fitzpatrick, you can't be that invisible for 6 games.
Smoking Jim, I want to talk Steelers now. Devin Bush is injured. What
You
team?
can trade him.
What team would take him?
A lot.
Well, if a lot of teams would take him, then he must be worth keeping.
Because they're fooled. They're fooled. Name one big hit he's had at Michigan or
You know
the
what?
Steelers.
Big hit
Okay,
means
that's 0.
nothing. But
Zero.
here's what:
Yeah.
since he's becoming he's played every play this year until he got hurt. And have they lost a game yet?
No.
Okay.
They haven't lost one without him either. Mm-hmm. The 2 games that he didn't play, they
No, they only played 1 game without him.
2. He got hurt in Cleveland.
Yeah, but that's halfway through. He played
Was it
that
halfway?
game.
Did
He
play
did
halfway?
play.
I couldn't tell.
You're weak on the
He
details.
ran out of bounds and fell down and tore his ACL, so that's the only time I've seen him. But Mika Fitzpatrick, you got to trade him, get a couple.
Smoking,
first-round
you
draft
watch
picks.
games. Now, do some teams avoid certain safeties and cornerbacks in
No,
their passing
not
games?
Safeties. You're in the middle of the field.
Oh.
Safeties, middle linebackers, and nose guards were weak.
I don't see a lot of passes near him. I saw a couple this past game.
It's a center fielder. You
I-
can't be invisible.
Well,
Who's the little?
if they're going left and right, why is that?
Who's the short guy, number 28, Hilton? He's all over the field. He's all over the
He
field.
wasn't over the field last week. He didn't
He
play.
was hurt.
Yeah.
He's all
Oh,
over the
wait a
field.
minute.
He's
But
visible.
since he was hurt, he's not worth trading.
Huh? No, I'm trading players that ain't doing nothing, man. Trade them while you can get
Well,
some value.
here's what your history of success at managing a professional sports franchise. Okay,
0.
I'll leave it to the people that have
Smoking Jim, we'll let you
real
tell us your
success.
fiction and fact.
All right, here we go.
We were waiting.
Oh, I'm going back. There's a guy that played for the Pittsburgh Steelers named Clark Hagens.
I remember
that broke
him.
his hand in practice, so he was going to miss the Cleveland game. Joey Porter gets in a fight in pregame warm-up with a running back from Cleveland by the name of Green. The only reason that the Pittsburgh Steelers didn't cut James Harrison and brought him up from the practice squad was because Ryan Clark had a broken hand, so they needed a backup at linebacker. Here James Harrison finds himself going into the football game. He's too short. He's too slow. He got short arms. He can't play in the National Football League. He went in there and had 3 sacks, and the rest is history. When I scouted Robert Stonewall Spillane, here's a guy, I got on to him his junior year at Western Michigan. This is a kid that wore number 10, looked small, only ran a 4.840, could only bench press 225 10 times. Punters can do that. He had a 32-inch vertical jump. Ain't bad for a white guy. He was too slow, too this, too that, but he always made plays. I was the only one that said in my draft report, this guy comes from good DNA. You know, because his granddad, won the Heisman Trophy and was an all-pro running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Listen, the scouts blew it with him because he sat out in February of his senior year, before his senior year, because the former defensive coordinator for Western Michigan got a head coaching job with Minnesota and tried to move him into Minnesota. But there was an investigation. Had he transferred, Minnesota's coach would have got fired. P.J. Flick, a great coach, before he did. So Stonewall sat out the spring, the summer, didn't show up till summer camp. Took him a few games to get back in the starting lineup. Scouts forgot all about him. He had a terrible combine. And now, because Devin Bush, a finesse player who never had a big hit in his life, yet to have anybody's color paint on his helmet, they say nowadays you can't hit nobody big. This is a human machine, the Stonewall. He could be the next James Harrison, the next great one. This guy is like Nick Bonacarni. His feet and his brain moves faster than anything else on the field. Watch him. He's unbelievable. Only setback I'm afraid of is I don't know how long he can last at 6 foot, 230 pounds, the way he throws his body around. But until that happens, it's love, love, love. If Robert Stonewall Spillane was a black player, he'd have been a first-round draft pick.
So let me ask a question, because you seem to be putting all this value on somebody making big hits.
I love it.
Okay, so I'm talking about, okay, I'm just going to pull a Hall of Famer out of the hat and talk about, like, can you tell me, A, did he ever make a tackle? B, did he ever make a big hit? And C, did he ever get his uniform dirty?
No. I know who he is.
Deion Sanders.
I was right. No. That was no. That was no. I rest my case.
Okay. So, and what school did his father win the Heisman Trophy for?
No, his grandfather, Notre Dame.
Okay, good job. Because I learned that while I was watching Pitt get assassinated by Notre Dame on
Did they
Saturday.
mention that?
Oh, yes, they did.
Okay, good.
Yeah, Pitt.
I turned the game off.
We'll get to them
Okay.
a little later
On the back
because we
end.
do have to talk about the Pitt Panthers.
Yes. Yes. Yes, we do. Well, thank you, Smoking Jim Frazier.
Alrighty, well, everybody, you know what? Right now, we are in the midst of the World Series.
Yes.
Game 6 is being played tonight. Blake Snell is going up against a whole flurry of pitchers for the Dodgers because they don't have a suitable starter for tonight. So they're going to start with an opener and start the parade. Game's at 8. Dodgers are up 3-2 in the series. I look for the Rays to tie the series up tonight and to take them to Game 7 tomorrow night, which would start Charlie Morton as their Game 7 starter. And Charlie Morton has been nothing less than amazing ever since he left the Pirates in the playoffs.
I saw him throwing 99, 100 miles an hour. He was at 92, 93 here because they want him to be a contact pitcher.
He's actually
Shocking.
got some of the nastiest stuff I've ever seen.
His
But
curve.
anyhow,
Yeah.
I digress. So what I wanted to address this evening is the number of Hall of Famers that have died this year out of Major League Baseball. And, you know, I'm going to start with the list right here. And the first one was I can remember the cover of Sports Illustrated magazine. It was either in the fall of 1975 or the spring of 1976. Anybody that's a baseball fan knows that the Big Red Machine won back-to-back World Series in 75 and 76. That was after the Oakland A's had won 3 in a row
Right.
in the early 70s. But
I like Vita Blue.
But the player that won the MVP award
my
in
hero.
1975 for Major League Baseball and in 1976, back-to-back league MVPs, was Joe Morgan.
Yeah.
And I do remember the headline from Sports Illustrated. It said, "Little Joe makes the Big Reds go." And Joe Morgan was no more than 5'7", but he played bigger than anybody else on the field. Joe, let me finish here. Joe Morgan is the only player in Major League Baseball history. Now, there's been close to 20,000 players that have played Major League Baseball that in one season had 50 extra base hits,
Wow.
50 stolen bases, 100 walks, and there's one other statistic that goes with that. But I mean, the things that he did, he is the greatest second baseman to ever play the game. You had a
I
question.
was just going because I used to always hear him as an announcer. When was his last time announcing? Did he announce this year?
He's
Couple
been
years ago.
battling some medical issues, but
Sort of like you, Smoking Jim.
so
He missed a few.
So Morgan, who was 77 when he died, is the latest baseball great to join the list of Hall of Famers who have died in 2020. 5 alone in the last 7 weeks.
I know.
Yankees left-hander, the chairman of the board, Whitey Ford. Cardinals flame-throwing ace, Bob Gibson.
One of my heroes.
And the
growing up.
former base-stealing champ, Lou Brock,
What a great guy.
as well as the one and only Tom Terrific.
Yeah.
Tom Seaver.
Another hero of mine.
Have passed since August 31st. Detroit Tigers 18-time All-Star Al Kaline
Another
died in
hero
April.
of mine. I had his baseball
You know,
card.
I had all their baseball cards.
I heard he was a
These are the
great guy
players
plus a great
of
player.
the 60s and 70s, and they played the game the right way. They didn't cheat. They won, and you know what? They're in the Hall of Fame for a reason because of the way they played the game, the respect they had for the game, and and it's sad to see that so many of the players that I rooted for in my youth and I watched play as a young boy when I was playing Little League Baseball and then playing into the Pony Leagues and
Me
the Colt
too.
Leagues. So many of them have
Those are our
died in such
heroes,
a short
yeah.
period of time. And I just wanted to make sure that mention was made of these great players that are no longer with us. May they rest in peace. And I guess they're now playing in the Field of Dreams,
Oh, yeah.
along with Shoeless Joe and
Yeah.
Ty Cobb and Roberto Clemente. Man, I'll tell you what, heaven's got one
What a collection of teams.
one heck of a team up there right now.
Satchel Paige,
Yeah, I'm
Josh
telling you.
Gibson.
Oh,
They're all playing some ball.
The whole mess. But I did want to make mention of that because everybody knows of my passion for the game of baseball.
Yeah.
And a little later on in this segment, if I may take about a minute or two, we'll talk Pirates after we talk Steelers.
Yeah.
And after we make fun of Pitt.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Did you want to make your community announcement now?
Yes, and I also
'Cause
want
I
to
have
make
time
sure,
for you right now.
All right, I want to make sure that everybody takes a minute today to reflect on what happened 2 years ago today at the Tree of Life Synagogue in Squirrel Hill. 11 people lost their lives. I believe 6 or 7 were wounded, but the entire Pittsburgh community was wounded. And just take a moment to reflect on the horrible tragedy, and to see that hate can't conquer all, love will conquer all, and we've found a way to pick up the pieces and move forward, and take a minute to reflect on the lives that were lost October 27th, 2018.
And in these troubled times, I'd like to accent, because I believe in positivity, just think back to how we all came together from different parties, different races, creeds, religions, and everything else, and opinions, and we buried all that, supported police and the emergency people that came in and saved more lives, and we were all together then, and that's what I'd like to see again sometime soon. So keep them all in your prayers. Thank you. Thanks, Chip, for doing that. All right, welcome. We got it. On location, nothing really in the works, although Master Zhang, we had a great show there. Smoking Jim was supposed to make it. He had an issue we won't discuss, but he's back, somewhat healthy as far as we know. I'm not asking any questions. You were asked about, Master Zhang goes, "Where's my man at?" He wanted to break a board over your head. He said, "Do you think he'd do it?" I go, "No." So instead, he broke, I don't know if you watched the whole video, but he broke 10 boards with one kick. He had 2 students from a Providence School for Dyslexic Kids. They have Taekwondo, where Master Zhang is a teacher with their curriculum. He had 2 5th graders, a boy and a girl, break boards above their heads with a kick. He had guys from North Carolina there in his own dojo breaking boards with forearms. He even had a skit with a girl. She had 2 of his students attack the girl, and with her defensive moves, and she was only about maybe 4'10", she knocked both guys down. They attacked her again. She took on 2 guys and knocked them down. You got to watch the video of the show. It was awesome. Then we had, you're familiar with Cobra Kai. I'm not, but Master Zhang wanted to have 5 guys from North Carolina come up from their school, and they came up and fought. They had 3-minute rounds with 3 points. They fought like Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris did. No padding, no equipment, no shoes, and they were great fights. Master Zhang bought these great belts. You got to see the belts, just fantastic. I was up there almost 3.5, 4 hours to get all this in because we went from one thing to the next. But how about this for an opening? Master Zhang jumped through a ring of fire to open the show.
Wow.
Jumped right through.
Wow.
So it was cool. The end of the show, we ended with a dragon, a true dragon, paper mache figure with 8 students running around doing their dragon dance. So it was one of my best shows on location because we did so many different things that'll just pique your interest. It's an exciting show. He goes, "When can we do it again?" I go, "We'll have to see when we can do it." So it was just a great day. Perfect weather that day, but it was all indoors. And we practiced social distance to the best we could, and it just was a great time. So if you have any ideas for any shows on location, let me know. Get a hold of me through Facebook, and we'll try to do it. And we're going to come back, and we're going to talk some Steeler talk.
And his pass is broken up by Dana. Tipped off. Randall Harris has it.
Bethel Park Inline Hockey. It's fast, it's fun, and we want you to play. Inline hockey is just like ice hockey, but no ice, and significantly less expensive and far less of a time commitment. Way less travel than ice hockey, too. The sport is played on a specialized rink at the Bridgeville Rollerplex, RMU Island Sports Complex, Harmerville's Alpha Arena, Hot Shots Indoor Sports Arena, and the Murraysville Sports Zone. Our teams play in the Pennsylvania Interscholastic Roller Hockey League, or the PIRHL. Each year, teams from elementary, middle, and high school play a 16-game schedule, plus playoffs, from October through March. Practice one evening a week and games on Saturdays or Sundays. The sport is recognized by the Bethel Park School District, which means student athletes can earn a letter once they reach high school. We play rivals such as Upper St. Clair, Peters Township, Canon-Mac, Pine Richland, North Hills, and so many more. This is no pickup game. You'll need regulation pads, hockey skates, helmets, and the coolest Hawks uniforms around. 2 refs at every game officiate 3 15-minute periods with a running clock. No icing, no offsides, no checking, but this sport will rock you. Registration is coming up, so check out our website at www.bpinlinehockey.com and sign up soon. Let's play!
And his pass is broken up by Tatum. Tipped off. Randall Harris has it.
6-0 Steelers.
Look at them go.
How can you have anything bad to say about anybody on the Steelers team? We're all front runners in Pittsburgh. Whenever we win a game, we're going to the Super Bowl. We won 6 games.
We're going to 6 Super Bowls.
That's what I wanted to hear. Chippers drank the Kool-Aid. We're all in on this. I mean, just great performances, so many offensive weapons. Look at James Conner. He went from a brittle brother to having 3 good games in a row.
And I'm sure that Jim's going to have his criticisms, but that's Jim.
No, he'll be positive.
What's going on with the Steelers this year is the fact that they're getting contributions from everybody. You look at their wide receiver core. Chase Claypool is the league knows who he is. Juju Smith-Schuster had a solid game last week. Deontay Johnson, when he's healthy and he's on the field, he's a major contributor.
How about a couple of those
James
catches?
Washington is a solid wide receiver. I think the wide receiving core. Then you look at the tight ends. Eric Ebron is a big guy that's catching balls. Now and the thing I like about the Steelers offense right now is if one player gets hurt, it's like, okay.
There's a guy that can step
they're
up.
done. Like when we had Lev Bell, when we lost Lev Bell, we didn't have a running game. If Antonio Brown got hurt, where was our passing attack? It was non-existent. So now we've got contributions across the field, and subsequently, James Conner doesn't have to touch the ball 30 times a game.
Yeah.
And he looks to be very effective if they're handing him the ball 15 to 20 times a game.
Yeah.
Benny Snell, who Jim said is going to be the greatest Steeler running back of all time. I swear to God, I remember him telling me this. I could show you the text. No, but I mean, Benny Snell is contributing. McFarland, who they picked up in the first round this year, and we're seeing contributions.
How about the speed he
from
has?
Draft picks from this year. When have we seen people contributing in their first year in a Steelers game?
Never.
The
Let me
Steelers
explain,
defense,
never.
I will tell you this. The Steelers defense, I believe right now, it is a work in progress, and I don't think it's a finished product yet. Okay, Minkah Fitzpatrick entered with a bang last year, and this year it seems like he's not there yet. But isn't it a nice problem to have is while your defense is working its out the kinks,
Issues out, yeah.
and they can do it and win football games? I mean, to be honest with you, I didn't think the Steelers were going to win this game on Sunday. They played the first half was a perfect half of football. I mean, if they could do that for 60 minutes, I don't think anybody could beat them.
No.
But they got away from what they were doing well in the first half. In the second half, they stopped running the ball. They started throwing the ball down the field, and then all of a sudden,
they're back.
They're giving up the big pass plays. Okay, so there's work to be done on both sides of the ball. Ben threw 3 interceptions. How many times has a Steeler team had a -3 in their turnover ratio and won a football game?
Not many.
Not many, okay? And to be a -3 and win the game, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. And
I say that all the time. The lucky teams win.
and you know what? Good teams make their own luck too. You know
That
what
can
I mean?
happen.
It'll happen. And the whole key to why the Steelers are succeeding this year is they are playing from ahead. When you're playing from ahead and you're not playing catch up, you're less apt to make mistakes. You can run your offense, and and then if you give up a 70-yard touchdown pass
Doesn't matter.
or a 70-yard running play like they did to Miles Sanders,
Yeah.
okay, then all of a sudden that doesn't break your back. So I like the direction that they're headed in, and I like the lack of cockiness that I'm seeing out of the Steelers team. What are your thoughts?
Well, that's a good point that you made, that they're playing from in front. A lot of people don't know Steelers won the coin toss on Sunday.
Yes, they did.
Elected to receive the football.
They usually defer.
Yeah, they wanted to get out front. They thought they could get out front. They could control the ball. The first drive was 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yes,
it was.
Minutes,
That's old school, man. And then they did it with possession passes. But I agree with Chip. Their offense is good as any offense I ever seen. I mean, they got weapons all over the place. I'm a big Vance McDonald fan, and he hasn't even got untracked yet. Wait till my man Derek Watt gets back there in fullback.
He's injured, I think.
Well, and then Vance McDonald, I will say, he's a very valuable part of the offense because he's their blocking tight end. Yeah. And, I mean, he's an animal. Yeah. I mean, he is an animal. Yeah. Ebron has a better set of hands.
He's more like a wide receiver.
But, when you got the 2 tight ends in there, man, that's you know, that you
got
got
options.
7-on-7 when you're blocking, and it's leaving. Connors is getting, what, 4 or 5 yards a carry.
And
Yeah.
he's finding the holes. He got good feet balance.
You see the cuts that he made?
The cuts.
Because they're blocking here. He's running left. Then they're blocking there. He runs right. 10 yards, 12
Don't
yards.
forget a kid that when he was in 8th grade played in the All-American game with my nephew in the Alamo Bowl in Texas. My nephew was the starting strong safety. He was the starting free safety. Ray McLeod is looking.
Ray, oh my goodness, Ray almost took that one to the house.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
he got caught up. He got caught up by somebody at the end. I thought for sure I was up off the couch. I thought Ray, and he, whose practice squad did they pick him up off of?
Buffalo.
Yeah, how would Buffalo?
Yeah, they're
And
choking
you know
on
what?
that.
You know what that means? That the Steelers had scouted him, and he was somebody that they liked, and somebody else took him,
Yeah,
and they
they
didn't
wanted him.
sleep on him. The minute they found out he was available, they jumped on him.
Well, he played at Clemson, so a lot of people knew about him. He came out early from Clemson. Didn't go as high as he thought he was going to go, but very, like you said, very talented. However,
Okay.
Pittsburgh still, you know the greatest team of all time is the 72 Dolphins. In 78, the Pittsburgh Steelers went 7-0. Listen, the Pittsburgh Steelers are at a disadvantage. They came off 2 emotional games, Cleveland and Tennessee. Now they got to go on the road. In the National Football League, it's very, very important to have a bye week. Baltimore's coming off a bye week. They're going to be healthy. Baltimore still looks at the Pittsburgh Steelers as their biggest rival.
Why wouldn't they?
You know,
Yeah, it is. I think it's one of the best rivalries in the NFL.
I don't think the Steelers have the same amount of respect. I got to give the edge to Baltimore for a couple of reasons. One, Harbaugh is 15-13 against Tomlin, so you got to say.
I thought it was 14 and 13, but
Well, 15-13, but so you got to say You got to say that Harbaugh's the better coach. You know, they got the Steelers haven't made the playoffs in 2 years, so Baltimore not only made the playoffs, but they have the defending National Football League Player of the Year.
MVP.
and they lost in the first round of the playoffs, right?
Twice, and then
To Tennessee.
They also have 3 pretty good running backs. They got a tight end. We can't cover tight ends, whether it's our strong safety or linebackers. Andrews, an outstanding tight end. And then you got a little Hollywood Brown out there. They got a little chip on their shoulder because the Steelers backstabbed his cousin, Antonio Brown.
No, Antonio Brown backstabbed himself. He he stuck the dagger in the wall and he backed right into it. So that being said, but here's where my opinion differs from you. And I give the Baltimore. Oh hell no. Oh no.
Steelers.
No, you know here's what the thing is.
Steelers.
The top 3 teams in the AFC are Kansas City, Pittsburgh, and Baltimore, and you could pick your order on which one. Okay.
Got to put Tennessee up there too.
Not after we dusted them last week. But here's the thing that I feel is Baltimore's weakness this year. I'm not seeing the kind of play out of Lamar Jackson that they saw out of him last year. And I think now that he put that all on tape, defensive coordinators have spent the entire last 8 months figuring out ways to stop him. And, with the way that the Steelers are controlling the running game, opponent's running game, I think that's going to be the key to the game. If we can keep them from running the ball effectively, we'll see. That's why they play the game on Sunday. But that's what the deal. But I think the way to beat Lamar Jackson is to make him throw the ball. And even though he can throw the ball well, if he has to rely on that, one thing about Lamar Jackson, so far in his career, he's played in 2 big games and he failed in both of them. Okay? Both times in the playoffs, he was a first-round exit.
He's 24-4 in regular season.
But that's not what counts.
24-4. This is a regular season.
Then this is a playoff game. If you don't think this is a playoff game, Jim, you need your head examined. This is a playoff game because this is what happens. We win this week, then we've got one up in a tiebreaker. Okay, and then this could come down to who ends up with the number 1 seed or the number 2 seed. So, I don't want to have to, we get to play them again, and I don't think the Steelers are taking this game lightly. I will tell you this. I'm getting a big bowl of popcorn, and I'm going to sit down and I'm going to enjoy watching this game because there's going to be some hit.
Will you admit, we got Stonewall Spillane, but will you admit this, that the Pittsburgh Steelers would have benefited from a midseason bye week?
Oh, of course, but that was, what?
Baltimore just
But here's what. One thing about 2020. It isn't fair that the Steelers didn't get a bye week, this early because of Tennessee's
COVID.
Their lack of following the protocol. Okay, they've been fined for it.
How can you say that?
Well, because they got fined $350,000 for not following the COVID protocols.
Listen.
No. They didn't get fined.
Anybody
Yeah, Jim. If anybody could get it, if they didn't do anything wrong, why'd they get fined?
The president of the United States got it when he went to Cleveland. They had to throw Cleveland out the league. 35 people in the White House.
We're not talking that. Hey, here's the playoff thing right now. All you Steeler fans, forget about what Smoking Jim said. Anthony, our great volunteer, gave me the playoff bracket after week 7. Steelers number 1, KC number 2, Tennessee number 3, number 4 Buffalo, Colts Baltimore number 5. I'm not sure. Cleveland number 6, and number 7 the Colts. That's for the AFC.
Did you get that from Care? Did you double check that?
Well, no. Here, watch this. What's this say? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
And then you would think 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay, I didn't know.
Now look where the 5 is. 4, 5, 6, 7.
There's an extra playoff team this year, right? Extra playoff team.
So
I don't know.
To get to our next subject here, I want to touch on 2 things, and we're running out of time.
Yeah, we're minute
Okay,
59.
and Pitt got destroyed. I think Pat Narduzzi era is over at Pitt, is what my opinion is. Here's a guy who's cocky because he beat Austin Peay by 50 points, okay? And he hasn't beaten a team since, okay? And more importantly, what is going on with the University of Pitt? Somebody needs to have a talk with Heather Lyke. Pitt makes its first national television appearance in how long?
Oh.
I didn't even know which team was. Those were the ugliest uniforms I have ever seen. They were an abomination. Oh my God, I couldn't even tell they were the Pitt Panthers.
How about the
Pitt
uniforms?
Script? That's what I'm talking about. Where's the Pitt script on the helmet? Where's the blue and the gold? I mean, come on. You're trying to recruit people to your team to come to this city and play football, and you got a bunch of college kids playing in their pajamas.
No,
okay?
It was terrible. Just to make some money. Just a little
but
money.
I had to get that out.
I'm glad you got it out.
But and then one other thing, the Pirates got a lot of decisions to make. 5 days after the World Series is over, we're going to have to decide what we're going to do with Chris Archer.
Yeah.
Are they going to pick up his option
He's
and have
gone.
him pitch for us? I don't know about that. A starting pitcher that can give you 200 innings for $12 million is a bargain. Don't be surprised if he's pitching for the Pirates this year.
I'll be surprised. We'll see what happens, but
35 seconds.
we got some time. Smoking Jim, great to have you back. Appreciate your opinions. Disagree 100% with them, but hey, that's just me. That's why we're still friends. Chip, thanks for your insights. Thanks for the special announcement with the Tree of Life Synagogue. You know, it's very important. You know, it's just terrible that happened. But, you know, thanks for watching our show. Hope we entertained you, and we'll see you next week. Please stay Joey strong.